And we have Johanne Nielsen and Brandi Price. And so, Brandi, I know you're with us, and I've given you co-host capability.
Okay, great.
Yes, so there you are. Yeah.
Yeah, Johanna is unable to make it today due to uh, family, something came up in their
Sure.
family. So,
Oh, okay, great.
here
But
today.
thank you, Brandy. So today, Brandy Price will share the experiences that she and Johanna Nielsen experienced in the North Vancouver School District, where they planned a math mentorship day for students, teachers, and staff to engage with Indigenous math and logic games. So um, take it away, Brandy.
Right, I just made a little slideshow if I can
Yeah,
share
you should be
that.
able to.
I
Yes.
just want to remember how to do this. It's been a while. Oh, share.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me just see if this will. So let me know if you can see this in a second. You all see
Coming up.
this?
It's yeah, there it is. Now, if we could put it on the
Okay.
post so we see the slideshow. Yeah.
So
Yeah, there it is. You have about 12 minutes.
yeah, so I have we had a event, Johanna and I um led a I guess I kept changing the name of our program, but it's like at the end of the day I was thinking about celebration and just celebrating Indigenous math culture at one of my secondary schools, and that was last Friday um at Windsor Secondary. So to share a little bit more about that day. So I kind of was thinking about rethinking um, math because I know for Johanna, she was kind of really nervous about it, and other teachers as well. And it's always kind of an issue in a lot of places, like where do I start with Indigenous education and let alone math? And so I really started thinking about like, well, when you're writing a lesson plan, we think about the hook and what's going to entice people. And so my big question to myself really was, can the students and staff find joy in the math within Indigenous cultural activities, like through games and canoe making as well? I included that as in part of my project. So that's kind of what I was thinking about. And from there, through the planning stages with Johanna, she's the district Indigenous teacher. She shares the same role, but at different schools. And Marna Thomas, she's our, sorry, Indigenous um, teacher as well at Windsor. And she's more connected to that school. So she helped facilitate this day as well. And so we decided to host a day of Indigenous games and math, canoe math teachings. And we wanted to invite Mike Billy from the Squamish Nation. And he's a seventh generation traditional canoe carver. And he came in, and I'll share more about that later on, what some of the teachings he brought with him as well. And also we invited for the day was the Indigenous Staff Committee at the school. So they have a planning group as well, the English First Peoples and the First Peoples classes. And also we had non Indigenous students and non-Indigenous students volunteering as well. And so again, we hosted the event day on May 16th at Windsor Secondary in North Van. And it was during block 1, 2, and over the lunch hour. And yeah. So our day started with 5 games or 5 stations, and these are just some games I that I have come across like from my former colleagues. Carla Gamble and then Lori Snyder put together a really cool package of different games. And we did do a test run with our district. We had a district event, I think back in April, and we kind of did a sample run to see how it would go, and it went really well. Um, So we did that, and then at this day we did 5 stations, which was there was 2 Zuni board games right here, and
Brandy,
yep,
excuse me, I'm gonna interrupt you just because I just want to talk to Lorraine. Lorraine Wickley, you're here, but you need to be in circle 1B right now. So I just send you a link in the chat for you to connect to the other session, the other Zoom session.
Yes, thank you so much. I was looking for the chat.
Yeah, sorry to the interruption, Brandy. I'm so sorry.
oh, so I'm in the wrong group.
No, you are good. You are good.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm
I'm
so sorry. Thank you.
I'm a little confused. So can I stay here or should I go?
Yes.
No, you're good. Yeah, Doreen was supposed to be in the other room, but she was here.
Oh, okay. I'll go back to my
Now we
chat.
have to get your presentation back.
Let's see if it will go here. And exit. Sorry. Let's try
Yeah.
this again.
No,
So yeah, we decided like that there was 2 games, and so what one of my colleagues Marna, she asked a couple volunteers, and so ahead of time these volunteers, she had like maybe 4 volunteers to host some of the to help uh pre-learn some of the games. And she also looked up some short videos to kind of showcase that just before the kids came into the station, so they have an idea of what happened, because time is limited within the block. So while they did, so it was really nice to actually have some of those students, because each one was at each of the stations on top of me and Johanna helping out as well. So there was the 2 Zuni games, and then there was a throw stick game. The ultimate tic-tac-toe is not really our isn't actually, I don't think, an Indigenous game, but it is a game that was presented in the package through Carla, and I kind of used that opportunity as a time to share some of the reflections as well from the students. And there was another game. The local nations here call it Slahal. Where I come from in my territory, we call it Lahal. But actually in our language it would be Alaqua, and it's actually a Northwest Coast game. And so here's just a few pictures. There was some more photos and stuff, but I didn't get a chance to get all of the photos up. But just an example of what some of the kids were doing. So, and let's see. These 2 games were actually probably the most popular ones, and the ultimate tic-tac-toe, some of the kids like that one too. And so this one, which was a throw stick game, and then the Slahal was actually led by another colleague, Nick George from the Tsleil-Waututh Nation, and we invited him as well to do the welcome as well as the singing for the Slahal. And so he was leading that one, and so were some of our Indigenous students as well. So and the classes were quite engaged, and it really makes a huge difference when there's a drummer present, because I'm not a like singer, so to speak. I'm still learning, and I grew up playing this game as well. And of course we had lunch with the Bannock Girl, which was hugely popular as well. And so here's a really the other part I really wanted to include in our session was to invite Mike Billy from Squamish Nation. We have a student at the school who's apprenticing under Mike in making a canoe, and there's a lot of math involved in making canoe. And so that's what Mike came in to kind of talk about some of his teachings and the math that's involved in that, or some of the teachings that he's allowed to share within the canoe making. And this was held over during the lunch hour, his presentation. So the stations were during block 1 and 2, and then we had our session in the afternoon. And one of the things I was also thinking about is just when I think about Indigenous math I didn't want to teach explicit, like whether it's logic or like, probability and those kind of things, but rather let the staff and students kind of explore that part of it on their own. And we don't always need to fit one thing into the other. Like we're always trying to fit things into the box of the curriculum, but it doesn't really need to fit in the curriculum. That's what I was thinking about. Just to appreciate and celebrate Indigenous cultures um, through the way Indigenous people learn, and we gain knowledge through experiencing things with hands-on. And so that was kind of my idea about the day. I think that it went very well. A lot of feedback. Just and I'll share some of those reflections after. I don't know how much time we have left. I'm just trying to speak really fast here.
About 4 minutes.
Okay, that's good. And then yeah, so I'll share some of this. So these were some of our reflections that I was thinking about. Again, one of the things that would happen, which was really cool, was that some of the students and staff, like teachers, like they went down. What I wanted them to do was do their own research, right? And start looking more closely into things. And that's what actually some of them were actually doing, which was really, really cool. Um, and again, it's about them kind of experimenting and finding, the math and the connections and making those connections to other types of math that they learn in their classrooms as well. And really it's kind of everywhere. And so that's some of the feedback. These are just little post-it notes that I had. I do have more. I haven't been to the school yet. I won't be there till tomorrow. But some of the feedback was they really like playing the games. They thought the most interesting of all, that's all they wrote, but I feel like it was connected to the throwing stick game. And I like this kind of tic-tac-toe is more challenging. And they thought that the explanations were really well done too in the booklets that came out. Like we had a little paper in a bag with them to kind of read through. And it was really a lot of self teaching, like the students. I didn't really have to explicitly teach every single game to the kids because they are secondary students. And so but did help with the volunteers as well to kind of make it run more smoothly. And following up with that, I was thinking a lot about that's kind of again going back to the research part of it. I did really thought that was something even for myself to start exploring more. Kind of just want to have fun with it, and then you kind of go down, okay, what is this and where does it come from and who are the people? And I don't want to lose track of that knowledge either. It's important to share where those things come from. And so what's next? So what's going to happen next at the school is the English First Peoples courses, the classes, they're going to lead and take this on and carry it on for June for Indigenous Peoples Month. And that's kind of really what I'm thinking also about. And Nick also mentioned this in the Slahal, that this knowledge doesn't belong to us, like per se, but we're just here to help facilitate and create opportunities for learning to happen in a more organic traditional way. Because with our presentation with Mike, I really wasn't like having a strict guideline of this is how much time you have to speak to. I kind of like, hey, this is going to be a more casual event, and just kind of let things happen naturally. And then also, because I do have background in Sahel, because I grew up playing that game, I'm gonna also lead that on our Pro D Day, our Indigenous Staff Pro D Day up at Cheakamus, and on May 30th, next week. And so that's kind of where we're at and where we're gonna go with our staff. But yeah, a lot of feedback was very positive. Our administration thought it was really positive as well, and some of the teachers who came in to listen to Mike's presentation. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you, Brandi. Wow, that's quite a ambitious day and more of learning. So I raise my hands in thanks and respect to you. And I wonder if you could stop sharing, then we could see you and maybe others. And Chao Chu, I hand it over to you for questions.
Yeah, thank you, Brandi, for your presentation. Do we have any questions to Brandi that you can put in the chat or just unmute? So I see Tracy asked a question. She said, "Did we hear where you were from, Brandi?"
Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I was just like jumping right into it. Gail Kasla Nuga Brandi, Gai Klin La Takolo Tinglu Guai, Gai Klin La Quaquakiwa, Gluli Quito, Gil Klin La Hamathguim, Squamish Slayer Tathawina Guisus, Gail Kasla Liquila Kae Hamathguim Squamish, Slayer Tooth. Just wanted to introduce myself again. I'm Brandi Price. I'm from the Kwakwaka'wakw Nation or Liquidua Nation on Cape Mud. That's where I was born and raised. And also currently an Indigenous teacher in the North Van, or district Indigenous teacher in North Van School District. And I work at multiple schools over there. And I was really lucky to be at one of the high schools this year. And yeah, so that's my role and where I come from. And also thanking the local communities for us to be here doing this work.
Great.
Yeah.
I think we have time
Thank you so
for a question. One question.
I'm wondering what your biggest takeaway was, Brandi.
My biggest takeaway, I feel like I don't know a lot of when it comes to the games of the other nations. Like even I started looking into some of them and whether, more of the one of my biggest think about is the knowledge and where it comes from, and making sure that we respect that knowledge and give honor to it. And a lot of times as teachers we kind of create these really cool things and then we put it out there and things don't really get used often. And so one of again it's just creating those opportunities, but just also holding up the knowledge that our communities have and knowing that it exists and celebrating it, and just exploring more and researching more, and recognizing that Indigenous people have contributed a lot to the math world and people don't realize that. So just that's kind of what I'm thinking about when this project came up for us. And it shouldn't be too hard either. I think we overthink things a lot. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
So in the chat, I see Mia and Barbara. Both of them talk about the drumming, and saying students are enjoying it and it's very energetic. Brandi, what do you think? Do you have any story
One
to
of the
share?
when I think about Slahal or Lahal, one of my elders always gets mad at me for saying Lahal because I believe that's a Chinook word, and we actually have our own name for it. So our name in Kwakwala would be Alaqua, and that's what we call it. And so that's one of the words I want to start using more as well. And then a second thing I think about is that the fact that Indigenous Peoples Month is coming up, and I'm not sure if this is happening already, but thinking about we should have a math day. You know how we have different days in the calendar year to celebrate things, but I really feel like we should have an Indigenous math culture day to celebrate math. And so I haven't decided if there's a specific day, but I think that would be kind of cool to start an official day.
Great. Yes, that would be very exciting. So we look forward to hearing about that Indigenous Math Day in the North Vancouver School District. Brandi, you'll start a trend for us. That'd be wonderful. So I raise my hands in thanks and respect to both Tracy and Brandi for sharing your experiences, and especially for focusing on ways to make math learning fun for students and very engaging, where they are experiencing the ways to bring together culture, drumming, singing, ways of knowing that relate to, for example, the Métis sash and the weaving there, and the canoe making and having fun with games that, as has been mentioned in the chat. And there's a lot of math embedded in these fun activities, and you have been able to bring them together and to share the students' experiences so that these could be fun, exciting experiences for the students. So thank you very much for sharing your knowledge and your experience.